Well, Kunos have done it again. There's a new not update. I can only assume that all the YouTube sim racers who make money from YouTube haven't made enough money. So they've now got 2 or 3 days to make some more money on something that's possibly worse than it was before. Now, I said I wasn't going to make any more videos about Assetto Corsa Evo until it's finished. Well, call me Margaret and slap me across the backside with a wet fish, here I am. Now, before you think I'm one of those YouTubers who makes money off sim racing, I'm not. I don't make any money from YouTube at all. I have a job. But on my day off, what more is there to do than to play Assetto Corsa Evo beta multiplayer? A beta of a beta, or a beta of an alpha, or a beta of a development game? I'm not quite sure. But to me, beta usually means it's not going to be brilliant. Is it? Well, there are some changes. Should we have a little look? Now, before we do that, this is the disclaimer that says that you can subscribe or unsubscribe as much as you want at this particular point and comment away and try and call me wrong, because there are things in this that proves I was right. And that means those of you that thought I was wrong are wrong. So after following the very easy instructions of how to get into beta multiplayer, this is what we're faced with. A quick synopsis of the new features, general improvements and new content. And looking at new features, multiplayer, step 1, we now have 16 player slots and we have servers in Africa, Asia Pacific, Australia, EU, Latin America, Middle East, fantastic, UK and US. But the next bit is the part that interests me, updated tyre model. An evolution of thermal behaviour. Now, I said to you a long time ago that in the wet, particularly with the M4 CSL, in a low speed spin, all 4 tyres would get very hot and they would stay hot for an inordinate amount of time. And I told you that they didn't work like that. Yes, tyres do get hotter when you start to slide or spin the wheels in the wet, but they also cool down quite quickly because the water is cool and it acts as a cooling agent. You told me I was wrong. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Updates to the tyre compounds, yes. Augmented audio, a lot of people are saying that the sounds are a lot better. Realistic backfire implementation, although there's a couple of cars that have got backfire which shouldn't have it. Multifunction displays timed a little bit or changed a little bit, and we'll go into that. And a damping algorithm, whatever that means. The graphics have been improved, optimization of CPU and GPU, blah, 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 blah. Cameras, yes. Cars, what cars we got? We got the Audi RS6 Avant, a car that I've driven quite a lot. An M4 GT3 Evo, not driven one of those. M3 E30, I've driven those. Caterham 7s, I don't think I've ever driven one actually, or something similar. Dallara Stradale, great car. I know someone who's got one and he absolutely raves about it. We've got the F2004, which is a good comparison to the original Assetto Corsa. Then the Huracan, Mercedes-Benz 190e AMG 2.5 16 Evo 2. They couldn't fit Cosworth in there. And the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport, which I have also driven. Couple of new circuits, which is great. Changes to the showroom, fantastic. Let's get on and try and drive this thing, shall we? Okay, M4 CSL in the wet. Let's just go to a couple of things here just to change them, because I did do a little test and I'll tell you something very interesting in a minute. I did go from beta to beta to try this. I then went back to the original version, and the tyre module is fixed on the original version as well, interestingly. And I'll show you what I mean. We're going to use road tyres. I was going to do another video as a comparison. So, we're in the wet. There's one thing that this thing doesn't like at the moment. It doesn't like you spinning, because it crashes a lot. Graphics, pretty good still. Noise, good. Okay, let's try and get these tyres hot and see what happens. Deliberate spin, rear tyres, front tyre, hot. Now, let's get back onto the surface and see what happens to the rear tyres without spinning them. Look how quickly that rear right is cooled down, and now the rear left, within a few seconds it's cooled down. That's what I was talking about. So all you people who said I was wrong, actually you were. Whee! It's really good fun trying to slide this around. Now there's another new feature which is really important, which you might not have seen. If you look down here, this is a new little bar on the bottom left, okay? Click on the steering wheel. That shows you your force feedback, damping, etc. I've got it on 10, although it probably could go down a little bit. FFB effects, click on that. These default to 0. That's why you're having problems with your force feedback. I'm playing about with these settings at the moment, so in fact I want to put that up a little bit. Just see where it is. ABS effects is there. Try it. Fiddle about with it. It will transform how the car feels. Trust me. Right. Let's just go and do a quick. Keep using the clutch for this car when I don't need it. Let's have a lap and see if we can do a lap without spinning, which is highly unlikely. Oh. ABS works. You can feel the ABS through the steering wheel. But with those damping effects changed, you do get to feel a lot more. Yeah, I'm off. Great fun. I just stepped into this for the first time since the last video. It feels immersive. A lot of the guys are telling you it's not. You can feel what the car's doing, you can feel the ABS working, you can feel the car moving, you can feel the curbs. So far, I like it. Okay, now we move on to the beautiful Porsche 964 3.6 turbo, an amazing car, very difficult to drive. I'd actually said that the handling of this was odd because you get some massive slides on it really easily, and then the front would wash out, and it didn't feel natural, and it didn't feel what I know of how 911s drive. I've driven a lot of 911s on road and on track. I've driven one of these, albeit only on the road, but I know that with the turbo lag, they're a little bit hairy. Now, what you'll have noticed now is the game's crashed. And sadly, that is one of the problems with this beta edition. It crashes a lot, but I get it, it's beta. Hopefully the proper one will come soon. So, as I said, the handling is odd. I felt like a driving god when I drove it last time, and I shouldn't have done. Give it a bit of a flick into turn one, into paddock. That is more how I expect it to handle. Now I'm going into these in slow speed because I'm not confident of sliding this around without actually binning it. But a flick off the power didn't do it then. And what you should find is a big flick off the power just about held on to that. That is how I expect this car to drive. You've got to really unload the rear and have the grip on the front and the power at the same time. These are not easy cars to drive. If I go into this a bit too quick with a flick, power, There you go, that's how I expect it to drive. And you've got to be so delicate on the power. And there we go, we've got another crash of the game. At this point, I was getting a little bit frustrated. For the whole day of Thursday, it's now Friday, I had consistent crashes with Assetto Corsa Evo. And I mean consistent. A lot of it seems to be if you just spun a car and went into the gravel, then it didn't want to play and it would shut the game down. Literally shut it down, nothing there, have to restart. Annoyingly, it would also send my steering to full lock one way or the other and try to rip my arm out of its socket. However, I decided to persist and I went into an MX5 race in the afternoon, and there was another YouTuber there, Zaza, Claudio, really nice guy, and he puts out some really good content. Go and subscribe to him as well. He does a lot of GT3 stuff, but he spent 8 hours on this yesterday. Now, admittedly, sorry Claudio, I did not watch all of his streams, so I don't know if he had the same issues as me with crashing. But finally, I decided to go into a race. But I had to do something first. I had to delete the ACE documents folder and then start the game again and put in all my settings again, which was an absolute headache, and then get into the server, which it then kicked me out again. So we've now found out that if you switch off Crew Chief, and also I didn't have this running yesterday, Movavi, which I had running in the background, shut all those down, shut everything else down that you don't need, it's okay with OBS, then you should be able to stay on a server without getting kicked out. And we went into a short race, 5-lap race with the Caterhams, which I said earlier I wasn't going to be able to show you, but I have. And bear in mind, I'm using an H pattern gear shift. The others I think are all using paddle shifts. And we decided not to quali, and we would start from the pit lane. This can only go one way. Right, we're in a race. We started from the pit lane behind Zaza. Zaza's using paddles. We're using an H pattern. Let's follow him. Let's see how far up the order we can get. We're up to 11th. Zaza's right behind me. We're up to 9th. We're up to 8th. Zaza's followed me through. We're up to 6th. Oh dear, people are jumping. Don't know what's going on there, probably a server. Got a little bit wide there. Jan is right behind me. We're catching up to 5th. Sorry. Go for grass. Got a track limit warning. We're up to 5th. Oh, it's a lot of fun how it works. There's a car off there. We're up to 4th. Third up ahead. We've got one more lap after this, I think. So last lap, we're in 3rd. Don't go wide, don't go wide, don't go wide, don't go wide. Let's see if we can hang on to this. That's 2nd up ahead. It's not 1st. 1st is a long way away. Wow, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So finally, after a lot of messing around and a day and a half of being massively frustrated, I got into a multiplayer race. And it's fun. It is fun. I know it sounds like I'm hating on Assetto Corsa Evo. I'm not. But like I've said before, I don't get a lot of time to go driving on sims. I have a job, I don't earn money on sims, I'm not a developer, I am just a consumer who buys a sim and then goes and races it in my spare time for enjoyment. That's all it is. And then I take that and I put it onto my YouTube channel, and somehow over the last 2 years I've put up nearly 250 videos and you lot seem to keep watching them. So I must be doing something right. But, and this is the but, it shouldn't be that difficult to make it work. I still think it's going to crash again, but it's not as bad as it was, which is great. The dynamics of the cars, the 911 for instance, the 3.6 turbo definitely feels better than it was and how it should be. The Caterham, not so much, but that could be a setup change. The E30 M3, great fun, really enjoy driving that. All told, it's really good. The Dallara, if you get the chance to drive that, go and have a play with it. It drives exactly how I think it would. I've actually got a friend who's got one and it's mental on track, and it's great on this as well. So there are good points, but Kunos, you've given us a beta of a beta, or even an alpha, or a development, early access, whatever you call it, and in some steps, some things that were bad have got better and some things that were good have got worse. So it's sort of a sideways move. Now, Gamer Muscle did put this into perspective yesterday, where he said that basically the developers will do this regardless if it's good or bad, because they know that they will get content online. Whether it's good or bad, it's still content. Any news is good news, I suppose. And that's the frustrating thing for the consumer who doesn't understand how they're developed. I don't understand it. To me, when you sell something, it should work. Now, or at early access, that would tell me that it's 20% of the game that should work correctly, and then the other 80% will come later on, but at least you've got a taste of it. Apparently that's not the way it works, which we've had that conversation before. The tyre module in the wet is now fixed. I told you it was a problem before, none of you believe me. Now it's fixed and it's the way it should be. So you all complained, you were all wrong, I was right. Just to establish that. Force feedback, I think we've got to the bottom of that now. You've seen the video of how to adjust it, and I actually think the force feedback is pretty good, to the extent where when I went onto Assetto Corsa yesterday afternoon, it felt a bit flat, so I had to change some things. So overall, I'm now a lot happier than I was yesterday, because I basically wasted all of yesterday afternoon and yesterday morning trying to get a video up, and I couldn't because of the crashes. Now finally I've got something done, thanks to Zaza and his guys on his stream, who gave me a little bit of advice there, because that seems to have hopefully made it work. But I probably won't touch it now until version 0.3 properly comes out, then we can have a bit more of a play with it. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you on track.